Okay, welcome class of 2024. On behalf of the counseling department, we welcome you for more information to help your sophomore student prepare for their junior year. Tonight, we have the counselors will be here and we'll be going over information that we shared with students today in the classroom, but also augmenting additional information so that students can make good decisions about their junior year. And because we know that this is an important year for deciding on IB diploma, we'll also be able to entertain questions that you may have about some of those choices coming up. So the counseling team, there are 6 alpha counselors, and Ms. Ceccarelli is our support counselor, and we are all on this webinar tonight. To access information for planning your junior year, please use the counseling tab on the CHS website. Then at the counseling tab, pull down menu for course selection 22-23. And then that will give you information on this screen. Under the course selection links on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see information about the graduation and college requirements, which we will talk about tonight. There is also a link to the course description book listing every single class that we offer, the course prerequisites for eligibility for certain courses. And the third tab is the elective options at CHS for next year, listing electives in alpha order, describing the course as well as the prerequisites. As your incoming juniors now, you'll see in the second circle on the right-hand side, the junior course selection tab that all juniors should complete. Students who are planning to do IB diploma should also complete a secondary form, the IB course planner form, that is carefully screened by Mrs. Sieg, the IB coordinator, to ensure that students are on track for the IB diploma. And then the third tab is the appointment schedule that we're seeing all of our sophomores in the month of March through their social science world history class. So students can see based on their teacher and their period when they'll see their counselor. On the left-hand side of the page, you'll see information about what's going on today. We did presentations in sophomore English classes. We have the webinar tonight. And on Sunday, the 13th of March, course selection form closes. It's an editable form, which we'll talk about in just a second. All right, so in the classroom today, counselors showed students how to access the junior course request form. And it is a Google form and it is editable, meaning that a student could edit the form, editing their selections at any time, as many times as they wish, between now and midnight on Sunday, the 13th. The course contract is outlined just as you see here. There are links to resources that I just described, including the course description book. There's also a link here for summer school for students who either have a course to remediate for improving a grade, a D or an F in a grad requirement, or an A through G requirement, as well as enrichment summer school. Our summer school link is live and students can pre-register for summer school. And the editable version, again, allows students to go back to their requests at any time to amend if they make a change. What the slide here is the graduation requirements and the UC-CSU admission requirements and the NC2A Division I requirements. As students are preparing for junior year, it's really important that students think about where they want to be after graduation and how they want to get there. Our job as counselors is not only to ensure the graduation requirements, but if a student knows that they want to get ready for college, to make sure that the course requests that they make for next year and the following year are consistent with their plans. And if students are aspiring athletes in college, possibly Division I or Division II, we want our students to tell us that so we can ensure that they meet the NCAA requirements. So we will make sure that all our students know about their graduation requirements, including all the subject areas, the mandatory requirements in English, social science, math, science, and electives, PE, and tech ed. And we'll talk about those in just a little bit more detail in a moment. Technology education is a graduation requirement at CHS, and many students have met the requirements by taking tech education at El Roble. Passing that class at El Roble has met the high school graduation requirement. If a student did not do that course yet, they can either take tech ed, a semester-long class in high school. It's offered in the school year, or students can take tech ed in summer school through SLICE, a fee-based class, or they can take a challenge exam that's offered 3 times a year. And the challenge exam is coming up in spring, possibly April. And students who take the challenge exam need a score of 70 or better to pass. But if you pass the challenge exam, you will not have to take the course for the graduation requirement. You don't earn credits for passing the test, but that requirement is shown as met if you pass the tech ed challenge exam. As you're looking at all your options in high school and after, we want you to remember to use the resources that you have. The College and the Career Center could be a great resource for you, learning more about careers, thinking about what you enjoy doing, how you might want to spend your career. The College and Career Center also has information about ROP classes, which can be a great way to navigate some career options. Attend college fairs. We plan to have ours in October. Take any type of college visits you can, actual or virtual college visits. Career Day at CHS in October. As you're looking for options for life after graduation, it wouldn't be a bad idea to create a personal email account for your college and work options. And when you're a senior, we definitely want you to be having a personal email which you will be using when you communicate with colleges and your applications. And ROP classes are Regional Occupation program. It's our partner in our Career and Technical Education Consortium, Baldy View ROB. They offer classes here at Claremont High School to expose students to different careers and different opportunities. Some of the ROP classes that we offer will be listed, but we offer sports medicine, a brand new intro to behavioral and mental health, as well as stage tech. But there are other classes in the consortium, which includes schools in Upland, Ontario, Montclair, for other career interests. School Links is our platform that we use at Claremont High School. It's web-based. Students can log into School Links at any time using the same credentials for logging in as they do their CUSD accounts. School Links can help you search for college and careers. There is a to-do list in School Links. It's not meant to be a laborious to-do list, but rather tasks that we think will be helpful for students to start using to learn about what they want to do after high school. As you're looking for your options after graduation, think about California community colleges. The California community college system is rather unique in the nation in that they provide opportunities for transfer to a university for the bachelor's. They offer certificate programs for work and career training, and they're very reasonable cost with financial aid still available. Students are eligible for community college at the age of 18 or as high school graduates. California community colleges have open admission. Our California community college partner is Citrus College, but our other local community colleges include Mount Sac, and Chaffee College, just east of us. If you're looking at community college for getting ready for the workforce, think about nursing. You can find nursing programs at Citrus College, Chaffee College, and Mount SAC. There is also information. Citrus College has audio recording and technology, auto technology, and cosmetology. Chaffee College offers certificate programs in nursing, culinary, fashion design, and Mount SAC has a firefighting academy and a vet tech program. Citrus College is our partner, and they offer dual enrollment classes to students at Claremont High School. The dual enrollment program is really unique in that it allows high school students to take a course earning high school credits and college units. Some of the courses that we offer that are dual enrollment for next year include History of Rock and Roll, History of Women, History of California, Art 110, Counseling 160, and Counseling 207, Pathways to Careers in Business and Information Technology. If you're interested in these options, they are on the elective sheet embedded within the course request form. So please think about those options. They can create a great avenue for start building that college transcript and expose you to some interesting topics. Art 110 also fulfills the visual and performing arts requirement needed for the UCs and Cal States. Ms. Bogle, would you like to start now?
Yes. All right. So looking at the four-year colleges or universities, typically our students look at public or private schools. Some examples of public schools are going to be that California State University. So we call them the CSU system. That system can be Cal State LA, that can be Cal Poly Pomona, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Any of those, again, it's the Cal State University. We call them Cal States or CSU schools. Also University of California. So for example, UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara. Some examples also of public schools might be an out-of-state school, such as Arizona State University would be an example of one. And then also we have the Western Undergraduate Exchange, which is also known as a WUI school, meaning that your students that live in California would still be able to actually get California tuition out of state. It is specific schools, but they would have an opportunity at that. Other is private schools. These can be in the state, out of the state. A lot of times they can be religious schools or non-denominational schools. If I could get next slide. All right, so the University of California system, they accept the top 12% of our students in the state. They are going to be test blind for the class of 2024. What test blind means is it does not matter if your student takes the SAT, doesn't take it. If you send in the scores, they're still not going to look at them. Test optional, on the other hand, kind of is exactly that. You can send in your scores and they can look at them, or you cannot send in scores and it shouldn't hurt you at all. There are 9 undergraduate UC campuses throughout the state. And really, to be competitive for these schools, a student must exceed the minimum requirements. The minimum GPA requirement is that 3.0, and the minimum A through G requirements, which are those minimum requirements to get into a four-year college or university. Now, when we say exceed or meet the minimum, I can guarantee you that the average of any acceptance rate of a UC is not going to be that 3.0. It's going to be far above that 3.0. That's when we would really encourage your students. I told them constantly today, meeting with them, knowledge is power. Look up the specific UC that you're interested in and see what their acceptance rate is. for what GPA. So that's something that they can really start looking at of where would my fit school be? And these are terms that we'll start using a lot more over the next couple of years. California state universities, they accept the top 33% of students statewide. Admission testing requirements have not been announced yet for the class of 2024 and beyond. And their minimum GPA is a 2.5 or higher to be admitted to these campuses. And there are a total of 23 campuses. Something that we did tell the students quite a bit today was because the SAT and ACT has been removed from some of these college requirements, it is now going to weight other things heavier because you're taking one of those factors out completely. So for the UCs, for example, it is something to think about of continuing on in that 4th or 5th year of math to continue being more and more competitive for these schools because you won't have those test scores to boost you any longer. All right, private colleges. Each college has its own admissions, typically exceeding the minimum UC requirements will generally meet the entrance requirements for most US colleges. Again, that knowledge is power. We really encourage our students to go out and look up the schools that they're interested in. We encourage them to look on SchoolLinks because it has those admissions requirements. So they know, okay, my dream school is Pepperdine. What are the requirements to get into Pepperdine? What do I need to do? What classes do I need to take? What is their average GPA of acceptance rate? Where do I fall in all of that? And again, I just want to really press the fact that we encourage students right now to be going above the minimum requirements. And at least for the A through G's, again, those requirements to be admitted to a four-year college for California state schools, do the recommended, right? So with each requirement, they have a number of, for math example, it's 3 years required, 4 years recommended. We are recommending the recommended or beyond, just to make your students more competitive for those schools. If you have questions about specific private colleges, because they all vary a little bit differently, we encourage you to reach out to that school. Like I said, look at their website, go on SchoolLinks and look at their information. Or you can always call the admissions office if you have specific questions, because there are so many private schools we can't possibly have in our knowledge base, the 7 of us counselors, the requirements for every school. So again, and especially when it comes to testing, please be looking at the specific schools and what they require. All right, so some supplemental criteria that is going to be required for some schools for admissions. So some schools are going to have, these are mainly private schools, essays and recommendations that will be required. So they're also looking for different attributes for students. Do they take this initiative? Are they self-disciplined? How motivated are they? And what is their ability to overcome hardship? Where are they at with their resiliency? Are they persistent? Where's their energy? Right? How excited are they to continue their education? Their intellectual curiosity, their creativity, and what special talents do they have? Again, this time next year, we're going to start talking a lot about college applications, and we're going to be talking a lot about counselor recommendations and what that looks like, and teacher recommendations. And these are all things that we want your students to be putting into those, so we can really express to the colleges that they do take initiative, that they're a really self-disciplined student. So it's important that right now we're seeing that. And so we can put in our letters that we've seen firsthand the student take initiative. I've seen, the curiosity that the student has had by the different courses that they have requested to take. Extra academic courses, again, we're going to keep going over it. Beyond the minimum requirements is what we suggest. A lot of schools want to know, hey, have you volunteered? What have you been a part of? What is your extracurricular involvement? Every year we talk to people from the Claremont colleges, and they often say, it's great if a student has, over a 4.0, they're in every accelerated class possible, but we've got a lot of those students applying to us. We want to know, what extracurriculars are they in? What is a balanced student looking like? So we want to make sure that our students, again, have that balance, that they have the rigor in their schedule and that they're working really hard in school, but at the same time, They're a part of the school. They're in sports, they're in clubs. We have tons of different clubs. And students, if you're interested in any, they are on the school's website under ASB. They're also looking for other factors oftentimes. Are you first generation to attend college, for example? All right, so kind of going back to these volunteer opportunities, has a student been a volunteer in different things? A couple different things that are volunteer opportunities that our students have had in the past. Ability First, Art Start. I know that tons of students are doing Art Start, I think this week actually. Volunteering with American Red Cross or Casa Colina, the Claremont After School programs, the Hughes Center, Mount San Antonio Gardens, and then finally Pomona Valley Medical Center. These are all examples of different places that our students have volunteered in the past. Again, making that well-balanced student as the application to put into the application. There's a college for everyone, and I love this, and it makes me so excited and passionate about it. There is a place for everybody. There's a place for everyone to continue their education. And it looks different for everyone. Some people are going to go straight to a 4-year, some to a 2-year, and then a 4-year. It really is going to depend on what is best for your student and your family, but it's time to start having that discussion now. And so make sure that you guys are looking up these different schools, and there's tons of factors to consider. So there's more than 2,500 4-year colleges in the United States, and only 185 of these reject more than half of their applicants, which means that out of 2,500 schools, only 185 take less than 50, their top 50% that apply, which actually statistically is a great acceptance rate. However, oftentimes we only look at those 185 and we're looking at their acceptance rates. So it's really great to start using those databases such as Big Future or School Links to start looking and opening up your eyes to what other schools are out there. And this is the time to do it, rising juniors, because you have time. Starting fall of your senior year, our current seniors right now, they are done with application season, and they have been done with application season for 4 or 5 months. So think about it. This time in 2 years, you will be sitting pretty and you'll start getting those acceptances. So again, we really want you to start researching this stuff now. Do not wait until fall of your senior year, because we see that happen every year and it never goes well. Things to, oh, can we go back to the other one? Sorry. And things to consider as far as when you're looking at different colleges: cost. What works for your family? What doesn't work for your family? Because that's huge for you guys to consider. And that is something that you need to talk to your students about. Is diversity something really important to you? Do you want to make sure that you're at a school with a lot of diversity? Location, does that matter to you? Do you want to be close to home? Do you not want to be close to home? Do you want to be in an urban area or a suburban area? These are all things that you can very specifically click on and filter by through the different school links options and on Big Future. Major, every year I talk to a student that, says, I want to be a nursing major. Okay, where do you want to go? I want to go to UC Santa Cruz. Well, UC Santa Cruz doesn't have a nursing program. So it's really important that we're picking schools that fit our criteria, making a fit school. Selectivity. Do you want to go to a super selective school? Is that important to you? And then also size. How big of a school do you want to go to? Because there are colleges and universities that have over 40,000 undergraduate students, and there's colleges, universities that have under 2,000 undergraduate students. So it's really important to kind of figure out how big of class sizes do you want? And these are all things that you get to choose. All right, thank you. Next slide. Financial aid. I know we talked a little bit about cost already, and college can be expensive, but we don't want you to be scared by that sticker price. All right, so there are tons of different types of aid. There's federal aid, which can be grants, which is that free money that you can qualify for. Loans is money you have to pay back. And then finally, work study is something that students can do that they're working and earning money towards their tuition. There's also scholarships and institutional aid, We have tons of different scholarship search engines as well. My favorite, it is farther down at the bottom. It says FastWeb. You can make your user profile and they have scholarships for all types of different students. And one of them that I always talk about is like, if you have 2 different colored eyes, there's a scholarship for you on there. So literally there's all types of different scholarships on fastweb.com. Need-based scholarships, meaning that you would, based on your financial aid application, do they see a need for your family to give you financial aid? Merit-based, based off of your grades and what you have done in high school. Again, don't let that sticker price scare you, because of loans, because of grants, because there's so much scholarship money opportunity that you can have. So this early in the process, don't let it deter you, but make sure that you're kind of aware of where the school that I want, how much is it going to cost? Keep it in mind, but don't let it deter you. Also, schools have a nice net price calculator, meaning that you can go on the school's website and they will tell you how much their school is going to cost. All right, next slide, please. So kind of going back to this Cal Grants and FAFSA. FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. And that you begin filing for that in the fall of your senior year in October, and it is due in March of your senior year. So it was due for our seniors last week on March 2nd. And that's based on your taxes. So it will be based on, for your students, I believe it would be those 2021 taxes. It's the prior year taxes. So I think that's correct off the top of my head. So sophomore year tax information. All right, FAFSA information will be provided junior and senior year. We have an entire FAFSA night that we have in the fall of your senior year. There are experts from colleges that come to support us and walk us through that FAFSA process. And then finally, that Cal Grant, state grant for California residents who stay in California for higher education, can also help pay for your college expenses. So different type. All right. So the PSAT, that preliminary SAT, I do know that some of our class of 2024 has already taken that. It is really, really important that your student takes it in the fall of their junior year, because that is the only way to qualify for National Merit Scholarship. And it's based on those PSAT scores only in the fall of junior year. It measures critical reading, math, and writing structure. A good practice for SAT or ACT offered once per year in October. It's only offered in October, so sign up registration is typically in August during our registration. And those scores can range from 160 to 760. All right, so about the ACT and that SAT. So the ACT is 25% English, 25% math, 25% reading, and 25% science. Again, this is the ACT. And it is based off of 1 to 36 total points, and there is no penalty for an incorrect answer. To sign up for this, you would want to go to the ACT.org. SAT, it is based on evidence-based reading and writing, mathematics, and the scale ranges from 400 to 1600, and the scale from 200 to 800 for each portion. All right, so preparing for these tests, how do I get ready for them? And so typically students will start taking admission tests early in their senior year, early in their junior year. So in just a couple months for our students. So it is early in their junior year that they would start taking these in the fall. It's early in the spring of their junior year. I apologize, early in the spring of their junior year. The best free preparation for the SAT is Khan Academy. I know we talk a lot about Khan Academy for math or different classes to help support students, but we really love Khan Academy to help support students prepare for the SAT. Another thing that's going to help you is by taking rigorous classes. It's going to prepare you for the rigor of the test. Doing your homework, reading, all of this, believe it or not, is going to prepare you for the SATs. There are some private places that do SAT prep as well for a fee, such as like Sylvan, Princeton Review, and Kaplan. Test prep workbooks are also available at local bookstores like Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Okay. don't want to depend on standardized tests for college admissions, there is fairtest.org, which is a great place to go for a list of nationwide schools that do not use the SAT or the ACT for their admissions. And again, with 2 years ago, I could tell you what schools required the SATs and ACTs or a standardized test in general. It is much more difficult to know. So we always tell, because some schools, again, have gone test blind, some test optional. So we really encourage you to be looking on the specific school's website. That's going to be where it updates most currently. I believe one of our most recent webinars, that day it literally changed. And so it is ever changing. The UC has released that they will not be required for class of 2024 though. Okay, again, kind of start taking these admissions tests in the spring of 11th grade for ACT and SAT. The scores will be received early enough to retest and strengthen the skills over the summer. That's why we don't want you to wait until senior year. We want you to know where you're at. When you're taking them, where are you at on the SAT, ACT? Where do you need to improve? The goal is to not have to test in the fall of the senior year. But if you need to, obviously we want you to. But not having to test, not worrying about the tests does allow for more time to focus on college applications. All right, and now I'm going to hand it over to one of my colleagues.
All right, so as your juniors next year, you will have more options for courses. IB courses can only begin in junior year, and you can pursue the full IB diploma. And there are more advanced placement option courses available to all juniors as well. IB and AP are both rigorous courses with extensive reading and extensive writing. Both IB and AP courses are weighted. So if you earn a C or better, you earn an additional GPA point for taking an AP or IB course. That's how you discover that some students have higher than a 4.0 GPA because they took several weighted classes in high school and performed well in them. IB and AP courses are developed to have a test at the end of the course. Those tests are done in May for AP exams and IB courses also. IB exams can be for a standard level or SL course as well as an HL course, and the test will come either at a 1-year interval for a SL course or a 2-year interval for an HL course. AP courses by definition are always a single year in duration, and the AP exam can be taken at the end of the course in May. We do not require at Claremont High School that students who take an AP class take the AP exam. That is a student's decision and choice to take the exam. The advantage of taking AP and IB exams is that performance on that test can grant you advanced placement or advanced standing in college when you get there. And recently, due to the pandemic, many colleges were looking to see if students took AP or IB exams to have another indicator of performance. So AP and IB can also help there. They're not admission tests. AP and IB exams are not admission tests, but they have been used recently because of the pandemic and the unavailability of SAT and ACT tests to show another way of your performance. If you're doing IB diploma, which we'll talk about in just a second, testing is part of the IB diploma, and that's coming up next. You register for AP and IB exams in the fall if you want to take them. So what's the IB diploma? Hopefully those of you who are interested in IB diploma have had an opportunity to meet with Mrs. Sieg. She hosted many sessions in the 800 quad in the last 10 days, meeting with students who were interested in IB. You can take standalone IB courses, you can take standalone AP courses, you can mix AP and IB, but if you want IB diploma, you are committing to a 2-year program, junior year and senior year, taking IB courses exclusively. The IB diploma requires that students take 3 HL or higher level courses over the 2-year period and test in senior year in 3 HL or high level courses. Claremont High School has designed our IB diploma to have IB English as a HL course, and IB History of the Americas is another mandated second HL course. Students can decide their third HL course, which will also have an HL exam in senior year. IB diploma requires that students also take a 4th year of world language and take a 4th year world language test before graduation, called an SL world language exam. And students also must take at least 1 math and 1 science test for the IB diploma. It could be an HL exam or an SL exam, and that's part of the design of IB diploma and part of what Mrs. Sieg was assisting students with so they could understand the scope of their commitment for IB diploma. Theory of Knowledge is a course required in IB diploma. It's a single semester in the spring of junior year, and it is a course required in the fall of senior year. It supports activities like extended essay, which is a component of IB diploma, roughly 4,000 word essay topic developed by the student and the advisor, exploring a question or concern that they write about over the course of the summer before senior year begins. And TOK also supports another component of IB, which is Creativity, Action, and Service, known as CAS. It can be different things. It can be creativity, could be maybe you're an artist, or maybe you're part of Art Start and you teach younger children that. Perhaps you're in the theater, or perhaps you're speech and debate, mock trial. Maybe you're an athlete. Maybe you're on the newspaper or yearbook. Maybe you serve the local community in a different way too. You maybe play music to people in the hospital or a senior center. There's lots of ways to serve, but extended essay and creativity, action, and service are embedded components of IB and part of the IB diploma. You do not have to take the hardest classes at CHS to earn the IB diploma, and you do not need to take high-level HL courses in all 6 areas, but you do need to take 3 HL courses over junior year and senior year. And again, we predetermined that all students will take English HL and History HL. You can choose your third one only. That's the only thing you have to choose. Your third HL choice can be in mathematics. It can be in statistics or calculus, biology, physics, computer science, visual arts, psychology, and our new emphasis, music. You will have to take 3 SL classes between junior year and senior year. Your options for SL would be visual arts, computer science, sports exercise, physics, psychology, or music. And again, the IB world language is required between junior year and senior year, a 4th year of a world language, and that is considered an SL course. It is possible, depending on what you're currently in language and math, to also permit additional electives like yearbook, ASB, or theater in your IB diploma schedule. There are tests for AP and IB. AP tests are annual, usually a 3-hour-ish test per exam. The cost is roughly $100 per exam. The IB exams will vary, but they're generally 2 1.5-hour tests per subject. And there is a project grade embedded in the IB exams that is completed during the course. The International Baccalaureate classes have something called internal assessment ongoing in a course, and that is ongoing assessment to check for learning throughout the duration of the course to ensure that students are being delivered the instruction of the course so that they are well prepared for that end of course exam for the SL or HL level. IB exams are slightly more expensive, but there are fee waivers for families that have financial needs. So please do not let the sticker price deter you if you have financial need. The district will help cover that.
Paula, do you want me to step in here on this slide here?
If you like, sure.
Claremont High School does offer a variety of courses through the Regional Occupational Program, also known as ROP. These courses are where students can earn elective credits as well as learn job skills that can help them obtain certificates as well as above minimum wage jobs once they graduate. We do offer a variety of courses here on the CHS campus, being stage tech, sports medicine, and we're also offering a brand new ROP course this year with introduction to mental and behavioral health. Students are able to enroll in courses outside of Claremont High School as well. There's courses within cosmetology, welding, HVAC, ventilation, and a ton of other courses that students can enroll in. They do offer a summer school option for these courses as well. If your student is interested in any course outside of Claremont High School within the ROP program, it's highly encouraged that they meet with Ms. Suzanne Miller, who's our career technician. Her office is located in the library, and she can walk them through the process of getting them enrolled in any ROP courses that are not on the Claremont High School campus. Courses that are held on the Claremont High School campus, they will find those courses on their course request form, and they can select those as elective options. As was mentioned before, if your student aspires to be a collegiate athlete at the Division I or II level, the NCAA has its own set of requirements. They govern collegiate sports. So they'll have their own set of requirements. This time as a sophomore, the most important thing for your student, if they're interested in playing a Division I or II sport, is to let their guidance counselor know when they meet with them for course registration, because there's a process through the NCAA Eligibility Center, which they begin that registration during the spring of their junior year. Attached is the website there where you can get information on the NCAA and registering through the Eligibility Center. Again, you start that process your junior year. Fill out the application. At the end of your junior year, it is required to submit a transcript over to the NCAA. The minimum GPA currently is a 2.3 for the Division I, and students have to complete a curriculum of 16 approved courses. 10 of those courses must be completed prior to the end of their 11th grade year. This is something that we monitor with students throughout their process. So what was mentioned before, we monitor their Claremont High School graduation requirements. We also monitor the A through G requirements for admissions into four-year college or universities, and any student that indicates that there's an interest in an NCAA sport at the Division I or II level, we also monitor their progress with the NCAA course completion as well. All right, this brings us to that point. What if I fail a course along the way? When we meet with students during registration, that's part of the process. We will be talking about summer school options. For some students, that's to remediate a course for graduation. Others, it might be to remediate a course to meet the A through G or the college requirements. We offer courses within English, math, science, and social science. We also offer some enrichment courses within chemistry and pre-calc. So those are original credit courses where students can take to advance in a higher level of science or math over the summer. Also included on that list is art class through Citrus College, which is one of the dual enrollment courses that students can get their art credits completed. Big one that's popular over the summer is PE as well. So I know students like to fit that in to get that PE requirement out of the way. Claremont High School, Claremont Unified does have alternative education. So This varies from student to student. If a student is falling behind, I highly encourage them to speak with their counselors. But we do have opportunities through San Antonio High School, which is our continuation school. There's some students that are eager or for a variety of reasons want to finish high school early. And they can get that done by completing the high school proficiency exam that gives them the equivalent of a high school diploma and leaves options, the same options open as if they would have finished through the traditional 4 years completing the graduation requirements. For students who are within 13 days of their 18th birthday and may have fallen behind, they do have the option of enrolling in an adult school and finishing with an adult school diploma as well. Every situation is different. So again, if you find your student falling behind or looking for other options beyond the traditional high school 4 years graduation requirements, definitely speak to or have them speak to their counselor to set up an appointment to discuss the variety of options that are available to them to earn their high school diploma or equivalency. Right. Summer is a great time to take time off, but there are a bunch of smart things to do over the summer as well. As mentioned before, Claremont High School or CUSD summer school is a great option to get ahead or to get some courses out of the way. Colleges are looking beyond just the grades that students have. They want well-rounded students. So this is a great opportunity to get some of that volunteer work done or some of that community service activities that are highly important that schools are looking for well-rounded students who are not only involved in their school, but their community as well. It's a great time to also go on college visits. I mentioned to the class before, if your son or daughter comes home and they're interested in Hawaii and wanting to go check out schools in Hawaii, they might be hitting you up for a trip to Hawaii for some college visits, but summer is a great time to get out and visit schools. It's also a great time to relax and rejuvenate. It's been a long few years, and summer is that great time to just take some time off and relax and get ready for junior year and going into that senior year. Summer jobs, great opportunity again to get some hands-on experience, to show more than just what you've done in school, as well as earn some extra cash as well. And then getting out there and exploring careers, trying different things. It is just growing, having growth as a student, and summer is a great opportunity to do some of those things outside of the classroom. We have many students who seek to take courses outside of Claremont High School. If your student is interested in taking courses outside of Claremont High School, it's important to make sure that that is approved by their counselor. There are many programs out there. We cannot govern every program, but we want to ensure that the student is taking the right courses that are going to meet their needs. So we want to make sure that the course is, number one, accredited so that they can receive high school credit. Number two, if they're using it for college purposes, we want to make sure the course is A through G approved. And if they're an aspiring athlete, we want to make sure those courses are NCAA approved. All programs outside of Claremont Unified School District do not meet those requirements. So again, if your student is choosing to take a course outside of Claremont High School, there is a QR code that we ask them to scan. It sends an application so that we can verify or help them verify, send them in the right direction to verify that those courses are meeting the needs for what they're taking it for. We were in classrooms today. Every student has already completed a course request contract. Again, that's an editable form that they're able to change and update as many times as they would like up until midnight on March 13th. It's important that they decide if they're willing or able to take a zero period. That's going to be the first thing that they ask. There's also an important part on that form that we ask, what is their post-secondary plan? That helps guide us as counselors, making sure that we're guiding them in the right way and they're enrolling in the appropriate courses to meet their post-secondary plans. Counselors will meet and verify course contracts or course requests with students via their history class in March. So as of March 13th on Sunday at midnight, it will close. We will have a printout of that. We will sit down individually with each student and verify those course requests with the students during their world history class in March. Attached here is the schedule. It might be hard to read on that, but every student was handed that, as well as a to-do list and some important days for the class of 2024 today in the classroom presentation. I know we had a large number of students out. Our classroom presentation is recorded. It will be posted onto the website, as will this one as well. Any handout that they miss, they can come to the office during office hours or lunch, and we can provide them a copy of what was given to students in the classroom today. I know there might be many questions that might come up in between that time. Students are more than welcome office hours or lunch to stop by if they have a couple of questions that they might have to ask regarding the course registration or courses as well. And I think that might be the last slide, and we're going to open it up for questions and answers. Are we going to read off the questions and answer live, or?
Sorry, trying to find my unmute button. I apologize for that one. I think we answered this question. What is the difference between IB and AP? I think Mrs. Aber went over that. I don't know if we want to go over that just briefly again.
Just different provider of instruction. IB is the International Baccalaureate Organization. They curate the curriculum, they develop it, they have their own tests. Weighted courses, rigorous courses. You can take a standalone IB class, or you can be part of IB Diploma. AP curriculum is developed by College Board, and they have created a standardized curriculum for the course. And they also provide the AP exam in May to show your mastery level of the material. Both IB and AP scores can be used to advance your placement in college. So that, for example, if you take an IB English course and you take the IB English exam and score well, 4 is passing, 7 is excellent. A score of 5 or 6 might earn you freshman English credit in college, so you can bypass that or advance faster. Every college and university has their own practices for how they interpret and accept AP and IB scores, but in the aggregate, it can be very helpful to help students save time and money in college.
I've had several questions come up about applying for 7 periods or applying for a 0 through 6 period day. I'll answer that real quick. You will not be able to indicate that with the selections in the course contract electronic form. And what we would ask you to do is to put that information under the additional information narrative at the very bottom of that. So at the very end of the course selection form, there's a spot, it's a paragraph spot where you can type in additional information, and that's where we would ask you to add that, okay? If an elective such as student council, Wolfcast isn't guaranteed, can I still put it for my first option for the course selection? Yes. If you apply for student council or Wolfcast and don't get into an elective such as that, we would just remove that from your elective choices and put your secondary choice as your first one. So yes, you can put that as your primary choice. We absolutely would want you to do that. Excellent question. Question here, can you get PE credits through community college in the summer, i.e. a yoga class? Does somebody want to handle that one?
It can be a little tricky. Community college PE has to be under the PE department and not under another department, like maybe dance. Dance classes at the community college often earn arts credits, not PE. So do make sure it's a conditioning class. So it can be a little dicey. You have to be careful. And again, we offer so much here at Claremont High School. We are not experts in the community college realm. Please choose carefully.
Excellent. Another good question here. Can dual enrollment history classes through Citrus be taken in place of U.S. history or only as electives? So the dual enrollment, sorry, go ahead.
The 2 history classes we offer this year, History of California and History of Women, do not supplant the U.S. history requirement for graduation, nor world history, nor Gov or Econ. They would be considered true electives.
Next question. Currently, Yearbook does not count for art or CTE credits. It is our understanding that may be in the process of changing. Any updates?
We'd love to see it change, but it hasn't yet.
And I don't think any of us have any updates on that I'm aware of.
Mm-mm.
Okay. If a student passes AP Physics 1 class and wants to participate in the IB program, how would that student enroll in the appropriate Physics 2 class? And on a related note, what advanced physics classes are offered in the IB as HL, again, beyond Physics 1?
So if you took AP Physics 1 this year and are looking to take an IB Physics class, you could do Physics SL, but you would probably find a lot of overlap to AP Physics 1. You might be ready for IB Physics HL. And if you're a full IB diploma candidate, that IB Physics HL course could be your third HL. So a lot depends on A, what you're interested in studying, and then B, in the context of IB diploma, remember you do have to select that third HL course for yourself for IB diploma.
Excellent. Next question I see on here, how many PE credits do sports that are year-long like cheer and dance receive? So every sport receives 2.5 credits per season that the student participates in them. So in sports like cheer and dance, if you are participating for all 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring, that's 2.5 credits per season, a total of 7.5 per year, as long as you're participating in every season. Okay. Next question, I'm currently in Spanish 3 and I don't see a Spanish 4 class to be taken for junior year. Is there going to be a Spanish 4 or only the AP classes for language, literature, and culture?
Historically, we've kept our Spanish 4 a rather small class exclusively for rising seniors. So if you're doing well in Spanish 3, we would definitely encourage you to think about AP Spanish or IB Spanish. Both courses are 4th year Spanish, both are weighted, and it is a hybrid class. So if you choose AP Spanish, you could be sitting next to someone in that class who selected IB Spanish because the curriculum overlaps and the teacher will do differentiated instruction for the IB portion.
Okay. Next question, what is IB English like?
It's a 2-year program. So if you are choosing IB English, whether you're full diploma or not full diploma, think of IB English as a 2-year course. Year 1, junior year, IB English, year 2, senior year. You cannot go to IB English senior year if you did not take it in junior year. So the readings are extensive. They're a little bit more global, I think, than AP Comp or AP Lit because it is International Baccalaureate. And they are sequential readings, so they keep growing over the course of the 2-year program.
Excellent. Next question, will American Sign Language, ASL, be offered next year? So American Sign Language is a course that we were able to offer this year through Citrus College. It is a Citrus College funded course, which means that the instructor that we have is an employee of Citrus, not an employee of CUSD. We have run into an issue with that in the past, and this year included. So will we offer it next year? At this point, we are planning to offer American Sign Language again next year. And we're hopeful that we'll be able to offer it for our students. I don't have a better answer than that.
Yeah, I would encourage students to sign up, but I would definitely have a backup plan because it just all depends if we can get an instructor to be able to teach the course.
Yep. Next question, can I take IM3 in the summer if I didn't fail or take the class? So I'm going to assume this is a student currently in Integrated Math 2 who wants to jump ahead for Integrated Math 3. The answer to that for Claremont High School is no. We do not offer Integrated Math 3 during the summer at Claremont High School's summer school program. There are options outside of CHS, and I would encourage you to talk individually with your counselor if that's something you're interested in doing.
Also talk to your math teacher also,
Yes.
because our math department as a whole discourages students to do summer math for the year outside of CHS. That's one of the reasons why our only year-long math course in the summer is pre-calculus, because our teacher knows what needs to be taught for pre-calculus to ensure success in the subsequent math. That's one of the dangers of taking classes outside of CHS is they don't articulate or align for what's coming up in the following year.
The other thing to keep in mind is that a full year of math is 36 weeks. A summer course is maybe 4 to 6 weeks. It's absolutely impossible for them to teach you 36 weeks in only 4 to 6 weeks. So students who have attempted to take summer courses to get ahead often struggle in the next level because they just don't have the skills, the basic knowledge, because they didn't have enough time to learn all of the concepts that they needed. So once again, it's not something that we encourage. Please talk to your counselor or your current math teacher.
Okay, next question here. Does CHS follow the IB scoring system from a 1 through 7 scale for all IB subjects? And what are the statistics to previous years of IB scores from CHS?
So the scoring for IB exams is done by the IB, not by CHS. And IB scores are released in July, 2 months after you take the exam. And in terms of pass rate on IB exams, I believe that is on our school profile, which is on the CHS website. And it was also something that Mrs. Sieg has on the IB pages under the IB diploma pages on the website too.
Excellent. Next question, what is IB sports, exercise, and health science? And can I take it if I'm not in the IB program?
All students are able to request IB courses if they have the prerequisites met, but we do have to be honest that IB diploma students have first opportunity at the more popular IB courses. IB sports exercise looks at the question of what happens to the human body when under exertion, when exercising, looking at different processes and studying that. A lot of kids really like the course, especially athletes, because it's like an owner's manual to your body.
And that is a course that is highly requested. Rarely non-IB juniors are able to get in that course. So when you completed the course request earlier today, there is that second part on there that if you were choosing an IB science and you weren't full diploma, make sure to choose an alternate science course for that reason.
Okay, next question on here. What is AP English Language and Composition like? Anybody want to take that one?
AP Composition has an emphasis on composition and writing. You're certainly going to be reading a lot, but really the emphasis is improving yourself as a writer. And as a prospective college student, the ability to write well, to write quickly, effectively is a tremendous skill that AP Composition really stresses.
Thank you.
I do want to tag on to that. We've received a number of questions tonight about what is this course like? What is that course like? We spent a lot of time in our class presentations today encouraging students to use that course description book as well as our elective link that we have. That's why we're having this webinar now. That's why we gave you this week to really do your research, to look into these classes, to talk to your teachers, to find out what these classes entail so you can make an informed decision before finalizing your course selections. So please, I encourage you to do that research ahead of time.
Excellent. Next question. With the absence of Mr. Pettibone, will IB Comp Sci HL continue next year? Will there be an AP Comp Sci class in the foreseeable future? So I'll answer that one. Claremont High School was fortunate enough this year to hire a new math teacher who also has significant experience in computer science. And so we have, if Mr. Pettibone is not back next year, we have another teacher at Claremont High School who can and is willing to teach that class. So we will be able to continue to offer that class in the future. Will we be offering an AP Computer Science in the foreseeable future? Not likely. Because we offer the IB version of it, we're not likely to add in an AP Science just to try and fill it. I don't believe we'd have enough. So we would not likely offer an AP Comp Sci. Next question. Can I register for retail marketing if I'm not 16 at the beginning of the 22-23 school year? In this question, I would refer you to talk with Mrs. Miller, who is our career tech and really is kind of in charge of the ROP program. Does anybody else have something to add there?
Yeah, I'll add to that. I just want to make sure that it's hard to tell. You could have an older student. We used to offer retail marketing at our school, and we no longer offer it. So, but there are schools within our area, within our consortium, that offer retail marketing. So that's why you really need to talk to Mrs. Miller in the Career Center. She would have more information on which schools, the dates and the times, and how to sign up.
Okay, next question. I'm taking integrated math 3 pre-calculus this year and have had experience in self-studying. If my math teacher were to give me a recommendation for it, would I be allowed to self-study AP calculus and take the placement test next year? I would encourage you to talk with your math teacher about this. If you take a placement test and place well enough in there, then yes, that's a possibility. I think Ms. Cizik said it really well. It's really difficult to learn a full year of math over the summer. And so I would be a little leery of your, I would just be worried for your success. Let me put it that way. We'd want to make sure that you are prepared to do the next level. But that would be something to talk with your math teacher and with your counselor about individually.
I think it might be also helpful to remember that AP Calculus AB is like Calculus 1 at a college. BC Calc is Calculus 2. Bypassing a full year of Calculus 1 is a big undertaking. And as talented and as strong as you may be, there's so much information in Calc 1 that you would be missing. Really concerned about progress in BC Calc, which is a very challenging course.
Excellent. Next question. If I took Spanish in middle school and as a result skipped Spanish 1, do I need to take 4 years of Spanish in high school? The answer to that is no. When you complete your UC Cal State applications, you'll be asked what you took in middle school, and that will include the adding Spanish 1 in there. Even if you, for example, did not take Spanish 1 at all in middle school, many of our students already speak Spanish, and some of them test into higher levels. In that situation, again, they're not penalized for skipping that. When they complete their application, it will look as though they've taken the amount of years that they actually finish on. So if you finish in Spanish 3, it will appear as though you've taken 3 years of Spanish. That's the way that will work. Okay. Would you suggest either IB history, HL1, or AP US history? Which one is easier or less writing? As a general rule, IB classes will involve more writing. And that is based upon the way the tests are designed. IB tests are based upon the written format. And you need to be a decent writer to do well on the IB tests. AP tests have a lot more of memorization. It's a lot more multiple choice on the test itself, which means the class itself will be formatted more towards that. So if you're looking for a class that has less writing, I would suggest AP. That has more memorization. That's a better fit in that situation. Okay.
And I just want to add in that both of the courses are going to be extremely rigorous, whether it's AP or IB. It's not a requirement to have an AP or an IB course. Not having AP or IB courses does not mean that you're not going to get admitted to post-secondary education in colleges as well. So you have to have that balance, and you have to be willing and understand where you are and where your skill set is and what you're willing to put in. So don't feel like you have to take an AP or an IB course. And if you do not, that you will not meet your goals if it's post-secondary education at a four-year college or university. But both courses within IB and AP are going to be rigorous, more work than your college prep course, probably a lot more reading and writing than the regular college prep course.
Along those lines, let me add, I heard from a number of students today that, oh, you don't want to take IB. They look more favorably upon AP courses. And that's actually not true. They do look at those the same. They're both college intensive courses, as Mr. Anderson had just stated. So please know that they don't look at one more favorably than the other. That is a misconception that many of our students actually shared with us today.
Okay. Mrs. Cizik, you answered a question regarding the introduction of mental and behavioral health. Just because it's a brand new class for Claremont High School, can you give us a background on what that class is about? I know there's a question asked about that.
So it is a brand new course. We have limited information on it. So the student that asked about that course, what I did was I actually just gave them the course description because frankly, we don't have a lot of information at this time. And so the link that I put in the chat right now, that's pretty much all the information that we have. It's just an introductory course to mental health, behavioral health. Now, I do want to add, there is a goal, there is a plan to add a second level. This is the first year that we're offering it, but the hope is if we have the interest that next year we will offer a second level. So I would encourage you to sign up if that's something that you're interested in taking.
We are excited about this new class. It's something we've been hoping for some time, and it's the potential with this class is excellent. And so we're excited to have that coming to our campus next year. So I wanted to highlight that, sorry. Next question, if you don't like writing or are not good at it, which IB or AP classes would you suggest? If I still want to do IB or AP classes at all. If you struggle with writing, AP classes may be a little better for you, but you need to understand there's also intensive writing in all of our AP classes as well. It's not as though there is more writing in IB, but you will still be doing a significant amount of writing in AP as well. Let me make that clear. I don't know if I made that clear earlier. Okay. What are the requirements for the students to achieve the state of biliteracy seal? And the second follow-up question is a follow-up to the Spanish question. Students would need to take 4 years of the seal of biliteracy. So that is correct. It is a 4-year requirement. It is the completion of the 4th year that's important. It does not mean that a student has to take all 4 years at CHS. It means they have to finish the 4th year. AP Spanish 4, IB Spanish 4, AP German, AP French, IB German, IB French. It's that 4th year completion that is the important piece. Not that they've taken all 4 years at Claremont High School. Okay. Sorry, I lost track there. Students can take AP tests for math, physics, etc. If students do well on these AP exams, how do they avoid duplicating coursework at CHS?
I don't think it would be a duplicating of coursework. The course earns a grade and credits. The AP exam can boost progress in college. So again, a college may view a score on an AP exam 3, 4, or 5 and award advanced credit, allow you to bypass taking that course your freshman year in college, saving you time, potentially money. A lot depends on the practice of the college and university. Some colleges are okay with the 3 and they award advanced placement credit, others want a 5. And it can also depend on your major too. So unfortunately, the answer is it depends, but it doesn't, taking the test does not award high school credits. It's the grade and the credits that you earn from the class. It wouldn't be duplicative.
Okay. Next question, if I'm taking the Introduction to Mental and Behavioral Health course over the summer, can I take the 2nd level next school year if there is one? There will not be a 2nd level this coming school year. This program is being implemented over the next 2 years. We are starting out with this introduction course. We are offering it over the summer to get our feet wet a little bit in it, to be honest. It's a brand new course for CHS. It's actually a brand new course for our area. So we're excited about it. It's brand new, but it is going to take 2 years to implement into the 2nd year. Okay. Next question, can I go directly to AP Calculus BC after taking pre-calculus? No, I think Ms. Aber kind of talked about this earlier. Calc AB is essentially the equivalent, college equivalent to Calculus 1. Calc BC is the equivalent of Calculus 2. And so you wouldn't be able to move directly from pre-calculus into Calculus BC. You'd be missing way too much content to make that jump. Next question, is there a handout that shows where your student is for A through G? So two things. On the CHS website, we do have a grid that shows generically what the A through G requirements are. However, when your student meets with the counselor in the next couple weeks, we will actually sit down and show them exactly where they are. That's part of our credit check process, where we take them through their transcript and show them what they've met and what they still need to meet for their A through G and grad requirements, and if your student is an athlete, for their NCAA requirements as well. Next question, if you perform well in the AP exam, do you get college credit? I think Ms. Aber just answered this. The answer is it depends on the college that you ultimately attend. So each college admissions office has their own set of standards for what scores they'll accept AP exams for credit for and how exactly they'll accept them. So it does depend on the college that you're attending. Generally speaking, performing well on the AP exam can earn you college credit. But again, it just depends on the individual college.
When students come in and ask me that question, I literally get on and Google the college, and then I Google AP exam scores, and each of them have their own unique page that will say, if you've taken this exam, you've received this score, this is what we'll give you. So it is different by college, but the information is out there. You just have to do a little research.
Okay, I see no more questions from our audience. Oh, one more. Would it be reasonable to do AASL, Math AASL in junior year and do AP Calculus BC in senior year? I'm going to go ahead.
It depends on a couple questions. If you're full IB diploma, it may not be the right thing to do. It would depend on what your third HL is. There would be some unique questions to address with your counselor and Mrs. Sieg. Mathematically, also AASL is more calculus based, as is BC Calc.
Next question, what are the requirements for students to achieve the state by literacy, their state by literacy seal?
Taking 4 years, not necessarily 4 years, but having had a 4th year world language course shows that level of fluency in another language. And also keeping adequate grades in English, because it is biliteracy.
Excellent, thank you. What are the probabilities of getting 2 AP Science classes?
We can only promise, we can't promise 2 until we ensure that every student who wants a science course has a science course. And then certain science courses are very popular and very difficult to provide 2. We'll do our best, but there's no promises. We have to serve all students equally at the beginning before we can do doubles in a certain subject area.
Okay. On the counseling website, it says that the course book is for 2020, 2021. Is it still updated? That is a great question. That is the most updated one provided to the counseling department at the time. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add there.
Yeah, I will add the course description book that is updated once a year. And I'm not sure if the one that's there is the older one. I thought they had updated it and it was current. However, here's what I shared with students today. That course description book has all of our courses that we're offering, except any new courses. The link that we showed our students today, and we also showed you earlier in the presentation, had a link to elective options. That is updated as quickly as we get any changes. For example, we were in a classroom last week, went back to our offices, found out, hey, we have 2 new courses. Within minutes, we put those on that course elective link. So just know the course description book does have all the courses we've been offering for years. However, all the electives, because that does change, that is up to date and we update on a regular basis, that link is current. So I would encourage you to use that as well. Use both of those links to help you do your research.
Okay. I don't see any other questions. And it is 7:30, so we will go ahead and end the webinar. Again, this is being recorded and we will have this posted on the CHS website tomorrow morning. So you will see that on the website tomorrow morning. Thank you for joining this evening. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Good night.